Hi, folks. Welcome to Crisco's Corner. Welcome back. And those of you that are new, welcome. Pelosi snaps at reporter asking if she wants Biden to drop out of race. Pelosi said, "Am I speaking English to you?" Pelosi told MSNBC early on Wednesday that Biden needed to decide if he was staying in the race. It might not be up to Biden. She knows that, of course. As much of a piece of garbage she is, she's a very astute politically. Now, you're going to see, so you get a little taste of what it's like to be a non-Democrat, how the non-Democrats in government are treated from the media. And she doesn't like it. You know, keep asking the same question over and acting upset and blah, blah, blah. I want you to think about this before I show this video. Vic said to Nancy Pelosi, it was former President Trump. And it was the same exact reporter asking him a question. And in the middle of it, he stopped and said, "Am I speaking English to you?" They would be screaming, racism, she's black, and misogyny because she's a woman, and blah, 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 blah. This the same thing? Of course not. There's a D in front of Pelosi's name, so it can't be racist, can't be misogynist, can't be anything bad, because we're above reproach. These people suck so bad. Let's listen.
Today to President Biden, what you said this morning.
I'm not having any conversations with you or anybody else about what I talked to the president about. We don't do this already.
Do you believe that him waiting so long to make this
I'm not
decision
going to make any comments in the hallway about the fate of our nation. Okay?
Are you concerned whether or not he can win in November?
I think he can.
Do you believe he should run for re-election?
I'm not speaking English to you. I'm not going to be making any statements about any of that right now in the hallway.
If that was Donald Trump, they would be screaming racism, screaming it. They're not very good under pressure. Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi grew testy with a reporter on Wednesday after being asked about whether she supports Biden's candidacy as he faces mounting pressure to drop out of the race. ABC News reporter Rachel Scott caught up with Pelosi as she was walking into the halls of Congress and asked her if she had talked with Biden about her comments that morning, calling on Biden to decide if he was going to stay in the race. She can't take sides, even though she wants to. They will do anything and throw anybody under the bus to keep power or get power, period. I'm not having any discussions with you or anyone else about what I talked to the president about, with all due respect. All right, that I'll give her. But it depends. She'll talk about what she said to Biden if it pushes her agenda. But it doesn't push her agenda and causes her a little anxiety and grief. It's none of your business. I'm not going to be making any comments in the hallway about the fate of our nation. Dun, dun, dun. Let me see if I can find a sound effect for that. Let's try that again. I'm not going to be making any comments today in the hallway about the fate of our nation. Yeah, you moron. Pelosi appeared to become more frustrated as Scott pressed her on whether she wanted Biden to stay in the race. Think about 4 years of the Trump presidency. You know what? All you anti-Trump people, TDS people, all you progressives and all that, you could give a good damn about being consistent. Even the appearance of fairness. And there she is with a Ukraine-U.S. flag. What ridiculous. We're taking out veterans from hotels and apartment buildings and putting them on the street so we can give money to Ukraine and we can house illegals. It's ridiculous. These people are evil. Are you concerned whether or not he can win in November, Scott asked? I think he can win. Now, it's funny. She'd answered that. I'm not going to answer any questions. But then she says, can he win in November? I think he can. Well, she'll answer the ones that she feels are to her advantage, yeah. However, the Democrat lost her cool when Scott asked if she believes should run for re-election. And we're going to show it again, just for blanks and giggles. Am I speaking English to you? I'm not going to be making any statements about that right now. Let's watch it again because I think it's worth watching.
Convey to President Biden what you said this morning.
I'm not having any conversations with you or anybody else about what I talked to the president about. We don't do this already.
Do you believe believe
I
that?
never do. I never do, so it's nothing new.
I understand, Madam Speaker. Do you believe that him waiting so long to make this
I'm not
decision
going to
could
be
harm the
making
company?
any comments in the hallway about the fate of our nation, okay?
Are you concerned whether or not he can win in November?
I think he can win.
Do you believe he should run for re-election?
I'm not speaking English to you. I'm not going to be making any statements about any of that right now in the hallway.
Yeah, amazing, isn't it? I'm not, she said. Am I speaking English to you? I'm not going to make any statements about any of that right now in the hallway, but I'll say I think he can win. Oh, my God. History will not be kind to her. Fox News Digital reached out to the police officer comment, but not immediately hear back. Now, that means what? I don't know. Biden has said in multiple interviews this week in a letter to the congressional Democrats on Monday that he is committed to staying in the race and believes he can beat former President Trump. However, while on MSNBC's Morning Joe, Pelosi suggested Biden had already made up his mind. It's up to the president to decide if he's going to run. We're all encouraging him to make that decision because time is running short. They didn't say we're encouraging him to run. We're encouraging him to make that decision. I want him to do whatever he decides to do. And that's the way it is. Whatever he decides, we'll go with it. Arriving at her office, the former speaker told CBS News' Jala Brown, there are some misrepresentations of what I had said. I never said he should reconsider his decision. Yeah, she's got to play the middle of the road. The Democrats are split on this. The Democrats are split on the middle about Israel, the war in Israel and in Palestine. Right down the middle. And the progressive side of their party, the crazy part of their party, that have taken over their party and the media and institutions of learning from middle school to high school to colleges, and now across every boardroom and corporation, a major one in the country. Tractor Supply tried that crap. They're a big company. A lot of billions in sales. They retracted that in a heartbeat when they saw the boycotts coming. Yep. But they allowed these people, like the ones that protested at all the schools, that smashed windows and doors and did tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars in damage. The ones that got expelled, they brought back. It's like letting, what the one guy expressed, having these progressive run things is like being tied to a chair and having a toddler with a gun with the safety off walking around. That's a pretty good analogy. And now it's coming home to roost. They didn't dare go after him during the so-called Summer of Love, where they caused billions of dollars worth of damage and dozens of people actually died. Didn't condemn. They shouldn't stop. Remember that from Kamala Harris? They shouldn't stop protesting, even though it was costing people their lives and billions of dollars in property damage. And a lot of that property damage, my understanding more than half, were black and non-white owned businesses. Yeah. They're panicking. If somebody had said this scenario a year ago, they'd used all the lawfare that they possibly could. They went after Trump with nuclear weapons. A nuclear weapon is going to jail. And he's still winning in the polls. And then Biden, of course, or his people, I should say, in their little bubble they live in, decided it was a good idea to debate the former president and also the prospective nominee for the Republican Party, his political opponent, in June. Maybe that was on purpose. They thought he'll F up and we can find somebody else. But he didn't tell Joe Biden about it, though. My God. I want to go back to the original premise. If this was former President Trump talking to that same reporter, woman, black, checks all the boxes for the Democrats, minority, woman, you name it, they would be screaming racism, misogyny. He's a scumbag for talking to a woman like that, especially a black one, and bah, 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 bah. What's that in Charlie Brown with the adults? Wah, 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 wah. These people are such hypocrites. Such hypocrites. I can't stand it anymore. The only thing I'm concerned with this coming November's election is what is going to be their thing that they do. And I can't go into details as far as voting goes because this website won't allow it. And we'll leave it at that. That is my fear. Oh, gosh. But it's nice to see the Democrats that I can't stand. I was a Democrat my whole life. In fact, I was a local elected official here in upstate New York as a Democrat in the early 2000s. But I was an old school Democrat, not the nut bars they have now. I wasn't a liberal, but I was a Democrat. Left the party over 10 years ago and now Republican. Big Trump supporter. I have to tell you, it's good to see them not handle the pressure very well. This and their Democrats' friends in the media have been doing it to Democrats, Republicans and conservative for 50 years, and especially the last 6 or 8 years. Now they know what it's like to get relentlessly hounded and pestered. And when they finally lose their temper a little bit, they say something they're not supposed to say, everybody jumps on them. But where's ABC and NBC and all of them? And MSNBC and CNN, where are they all going? Well, you know, she shouldn't have done that. That's kind of racist. It's a little talking down to a woman. What do they call that? Mansplaining? What a crock of bullshit. Anyway, folks, just want to show you some hypocrisy. Of course, you already knew. But knowing and seeing is two different things. Pray for our country, folks. We're going to need it. Until the next time, God bless, goodbye, and good luck.